a sophisticated car stealer. Like, you wasn't like popping shit. You was changing the serial numbers and shit like that. Is that true?
It was
How you start this shit with that?
You gotta break the ice. Break the ice.
It's Nori. Just expect the unexpected every time.
But how did that happen?
Well, getting back to the past, it was like I was never the kind of person when it came to you know what's interesting? Like I think I say the word that I kind of used the excuse that I was surviving because it made me feel better about it.
Right.
But that was nothing for me it was nothing really for me to survive because my parents was actually really wealthy. You know, we lived like
Really?
I was living in Jersey. We lived in a 3-story house, just me and my older brother.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? So
Just
we
you
had the
and
whole
your-
house to ourselves. Now when I think about it, we were just bored as hell looking for something.
You were just being a teenager, a kid. I'm assuming.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But what was interesting was as I started watching a lot of my homies, you know, they was selling drugs,
Right.
and I didn't understand like why such hard labor for no money.
Right.
These niggas would be like on a corner. Rain, sleet, hail,
You
snow.
was born in Senegal?
I was born in Senegal.
You was born in Senegal.
in St. Louis.
Oh, St. Louis. That's
In
right.
St. Louis, but
Okay.
then I was raised in Senegal.
And raised in
Yeah, I
Senegal.
was
So
raised
what
in
age
Senegal.
were you there in Senegal?
I was in Senegal from birth. We was born in Senegal. I mean, in St. Louis. Shipped to Senegal. Then when I was about 7 or 8, that's when my mom and pop brought us back to the States to go to school. And every summer we would go back to Senegal.
Wow.
So he wanted to, pretty much my dad just wanted to make sure we was all born in the U.S. You know, he's always forward thinking since then.
Right.
He wanted you to have a U.S. passport.
Yeah, he wanted us to be U.S. citizens so we would never have immigration issues. So he was always thinking about the future.
Damn.
Then.
Smart.
Wow.
You know what I mean? So when I came here, it was just a matter of adopting. And I think a lot of my choices came from just wanting to be, accepted
Right.
amongst the
Right.
the crowd. So that's how I got caught into, all the things that I got caught into, including cars. Because cars made me feel special. You know, I was young. I can drive into the most elite vehicles. And then I ran with the narrative that I was an African prince. You know what I'm saying? So
You was using that back then?
yeah, this is like, what? After coming to America, I was like, shit.
I was gonna say that.
Yo, you know what I'm saying? That's what motivated, yeah, because I was working at this barbershop, man, and, I met this Jamaican dude that was like, yo, he was in the cars, and I was like, man, every time I see you in a different car.
Right.
And one day he's like, rude boy, let me show you something. He took me to the spot, I was like, wow, I was mesmerized. And I was like, how much are these? He was like, $2,500 a piece. I said, what? How is that?
Right.
And he showed me the whole layout, and before you know it, I just copied and pasted. And you know what I'm saying? So now, now, like literally every other month now, I will come to school in a different car, and they was like, "Yo, where's
You the
I was
king of
like,
the
"Yeah, I'm an
moon.
African prince," you know what I'm saying? And they believed it because of the whips that I was driving in. So then I said, "This could be something, that I can actually make a career out of." Now that's how I'm thinking back then.
Right.
So I was just trying to figure out the best way to do it. Then that's when Atlanta hit me because I was getting out of high school, graduating. My pops and my mom's in Atlanta because my dad was a professor doing cultural exchange at Clark Atlanta University. And that's when they just had the Olympics going over there with Freaknik and everything.
I'm about to say Freaknik.
You know what I'm saying? So when I went out there, I saw all these just young, black, just really successful black people. I ain't seen that many black people successful in one city since New York. You know what I'm saying? Like it was
Not even in Africa, you ain't see.
well, nah, because I wasn't there long enough to understand what that was at that time.
Right.
So, so that was just different. But I saw a lot of new athletes coming out, a lot of artists out there, and then everybody was driving. So I was like, this could be the spot.
Right.
So that's where I just set up shop.
New Jersey.
No, in Atlanta.
Oh,
He said
Atlanta.
everybody's driving, so there's a market for
It was a
what she
big
was
market
doing.
for it. I'm like, y'all paying at that time, 150,000 was probably the most you'll pay for a car.
Right.
But those was even the super high line. Because at that time, even $90,000 was a lot for a Porsche.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So if I can get it to you for like 10 grand.
Right.
Oh, so you was legit into that.
Oh no,
That wasn't like a pastime for a teenager to do.
It was
something.
it became a real occupation for me because I started finding the ins and outs. Like most people will go out jack people for cars.
Right.
And then of course, me it was always the biggest profit for the less jail time.
Right.
So I started studying the law and I realized, man, joyriding charge is a misdemeanor. You get out the same day.
Wow.
But the only way you can get hit for a joyriding charge, you actually have to have the key. So if you actually have the key in the car,
That's a joyride.
It's considered a joyriding. So I was like, if I can just get the
How do you get the
keys.
keys in the car?
Exactly.
You can't let the trade secrets out.
Right.
There's other people.
There's still people out there outside. Yeah.
I mean, now, the stuff back then, you can't even do it today. Now you got navigation, you got OnStar, you got cars
Oh,
now.
yeah,
I mean, on your phone, you can track your vehicle. So it's like, you know, so the crazy part, so what I ended up doing was I started going to the dealership and start peeling keys.
Wow.
And pretty much what that means, like, you know, you just go in, if you see a key on the table, you just grab that bad boy, go to the bathroom, hit the click, see which one opens up, and if the car light up, jump in and pull out, right?
At the dealer.
At the dealership. Because you gotta understand, car dealerships is mad busy all the time.
Yeah, they can't keep track of
You know what I'm
everything.
saying? They're not even thinking about it. They see you in a car pulling out, they think you test driving or something.
Right.
Or you might have just purchased
Yeah,
a
you might be a
car.
customer that,
You know what I'm saying? So after a while, they start seeing my face come through all the time.
They like, this is a great
cars
customer.
listen.
Hey, he's a prince.
They said, well, hold up. So every time my face got burnt out, then I had to get another car dealership to go to. But then after a while, there was only but so many car dealerships. Then I had to find a whole new method.
Right.
Then I started hitting the valet parking.
Ooh.
That's where the business was because
You was putting the valet jacket on.
nah.
Oh, okay. Well,
He probably like, that's a great idea.
that's a great idea, right?
No, it actually ain't. Yeah, because
Schooling us.
it really ain't, because what happens is clearly, like, first of all, it's not easy to get a valet jacket that matches the company that you're doing. That's number one.
And they know each other.
And they all know each other.
Right.
So they'd be like, yo, who are you? I'm like, what you doing over there?
They will know immediately
You too
what you're
close to the cabinet right now. You know what I'm saying?
with your jacket on.
Right. So I took the diplomatic approach. I said, yo, let me just negotiate with these niggas.
Oh.
Yo, well, how much like do you actually make? How much are they paying you?
Wow.
They was making like, you know, $50 a week plus tips.
Wow.
And I'm like, well, even with tips, how much do you actually make? They said, well, pulling off maybe $200 a week.
Right.
I said, all right, cool. If I can give you $1,000 a week, $1,000 a week, guaranteed. You just give me the spare key of any car that got a spare in it.
Wow. And so you don't take it there. You take it when they go away.
Boom.
Wow.
If you could do that for me,
And only the
every
spare,
time
'cause
you
it
get
doesn't put
one,
them up.
just give me a call.
Right.
Right.
And all I need is the key and a piece of mail out there with an address.
Wow.
That's all I needed. So boom, they would get that to me. I just wait maybe a week, 2 weeks later,
Right.
pull up late night, car be parked right there in the front, jump in, out. And that was it. Like, it was a real business.
Wow.
But then don't forget, you still have to get the paperwork done for it. You got to get VIN numbers and
Yeah,
all that. But
changes.
so the beginning, you just selling hot cars. You get caught, bros, drive at your own risk.
Right.
Right.
All right, the car's only $500 though. Like, just these are squatters, right? But then once you build up enough money, create the pawn shop. I mean, the what you call it? Chop shop.
The chop
So
shop.
then I had a chop shop where I had some Mexicans over there that was super dope with cars. They
Big
do,
up to the Mexicans.
Big up to the Mexicans. Yeah. Big up to the Mexicans. They would chop it up for me, change the serial number. Then I had to get it registered. This is where the finesse has to
Register
come
at the DMV?
Yes, when you get it connected.
It has to come back.
Okay.
So I would go to DMV and I would just look for the most vulnerable, insecure, overweight chick.
Holy shit. I wasn't ready.
I wasn't ready for that either.
I wasn't ready.
I'm about to go to hell. I should tell the story. So, you just finesse her, take her out to eat.
Right.
Just
Serenade her.
sell the dream,
Right.
You just dangle the carrot, though. You never beat. You never hit it. You
Right.
just always make her believe that one day it's going to go down.
Right.
And she'll just do anything for you. So I was like, look, baby, right now I'm going through some things. I got a few vehicles that I got, but, they ain't paid me for it. It just came off the truck. She was completely green, didn't have no clue. I just need you to get these registered for you, man. Every time I sell one, I just give you some money out of it.
Wow.
And that's all it took. And before you know it, every car we got, chopped it, got it registered. Then now we in business. By the time we start selling in Atlanta, it wasn't not nobody that was coming through Atlanta that wasn't getting cars from us.
But let me ask you, how if you ever got caught, how would you get caught? How would the police?
Well, that's the thing.
Okay.
And that was a mistake that I made.
Okay.
But normally I never really get caught because I always went through middleman. So I was just a supplier, and I would give it to the person that would go out and sell it out. My only rule was don't sell squatters to dope boys, because that's how you get fucked up. Whatever you do, don't sell it to no drug dealers. Because the problem with them is they drive in any conditions, they move, they dry and dirty. They give you all the reasons for them to start investigating.
Right.
So after so many dope boys get caught, then now they like, okay, well, all these cars are kind of
Coming from the same person.
Right. They can start following situations before you know it. It leads all back down to them, and then they gonna rat you out, and in time, that's exactly what ended up happening.